To Real Family Talk with your host, Jay Real, where we talk about real issues facing us today. Enjoy the show. Real Family Talk. Hello. Welcome to another week of Real Family Talk. We got the claps coming in the background. Rainy B with the sound effects. How's everybody doing tonight?
We're doing good.
Everybody doing all right?
Doing good.
Yeah, we're doing good.
Awesome. I got the usual family with me tonight, and we actually have a guest as well tonight. Jeremy, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. What's going on?
Oh, I'm doing all right, man. And my guest, Mr. Antonio, how you doing tonight, Antonio?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Miss McCrae is here as always.
Good evening.
Oh, and as usual, Rainy B is back there on those boards.
Amen. Doing well because all y'all doing well.
Oh, awesome. Well, another week here. We thank y'all for joining us. Remember, if you ever want to call and talk to us, we're at 407-894-1680, 407-894-1680. So tonight, before we get into our topic tonight, which is going to be about health, I want to just throw out a couple of things here. We'll start with what's happening real current right now. We found out Mitt Romney has been declared the winner of the Florida Republican primary. I know who I'm in the building with, so I'll just ask. Does anybody care?
Thank you.
I'll take that as a no. What about you, Rainy B? Ron Paul came in fourth place, man. I'm sorry about that, man. Fourth place.
Hey, I actually saw a Ron Paul sticker on someone's car today at Checkers, and I thought of you, Rainy.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It's not over yet. The race is not over. It's not given to the one that wins first now. Don't worry, the race is not over.
Well, you been jumping there, Antonio?
Oh, no, I'm just listening and enjoying because I'm looking at it as just first place loser, however you want to look at it.
Oh, there you go right there. I believe it. I think this is just rigged. I think this rigged because if you really watch, you saw it, them speaking. What's his name?
Santorum. Rick
Santorum tore up Rick, man. He broke down his policies, tore him up, told him where he had flaws at. And for that man not to be second is a problem. Where he came in at third?
Yeah, he came in at third. The last numbers I saw had Mitt at 47. Newt was at 32.
Yeah.
I think Santorum was about 12. And then Ron was like 7.
Yeah, Santorum. See, I know Rick Paul, but Santorum, he was very thorough in speaking. He knew every single one of their policies, what they were for, their backgrounds, and he really expressed himself very well. If I had to pick, if I wasn't a Ron Paul fan with the red cape with RP on the back, I'll be for something.
You be on the bandwagon, huh, man?
Exactly.
As I was coming in today, I heard something I had to laugh at. Apparently, Ron Paul has a new supporter. Snoop Dogg is apparently supporting Ron Paul.
That's interesting.
Probably for different issues, but
Right.
but apparently Snoop Dogg is on the bandwagon too. You and Snoop Dogg, Rainy.
Oh man!
All alone.
Oh, Dre, help me! Oh wow! I didn't know that one.
Oh gosh, but we'll go ahead and move on. We'll move on from that. Before we move into our health, one more comment. I had another last thought on last week's topic, which was last week. If you missed the show or if you listened to the show, we were talking about different things that are tolerated or not tolerated and discussing why or why not. And my last point that I'll make, using the president as my backdrop. I love talking about the president. Love you, President Obama.
Tell the truth.
I do. It's all love. Using him as a backdrop, though, Of course, Newt Gingrich is, we still don't like Newt based on some of the racial comments that he's made in the past, especially as it relates to, the young children and helping them find jobs and different things, and to encourage their work ethic. And, if you followed anything that he said over the years, you'd find a few other racial comments that you probably not like as well. And rightfully so, as you pointed out on the show, Rainy B, you and I believe even Miss McCrae agreed with him that certainly his point that he was trying to make was valid, although the way that he tried to make that point was obviously flawed anyway, as far as how people took it. Okay,
You're talking about Gingrich, right?
Yeah, talking about Gingrich.
About the blacks. Okay.
Exactly. Now I moved back to our president. And it takes me back to comments that he made a few months back to the Congressional Black Caucus at their big dinner that they do every year. And the tone of his, or at least the comments that he made, was basically in reference to a lot of the caucus members speaking out, talking about how they felt like he's kind of left the African American community, black community, behind in terms of the agendas that he's put forth. And so, of course, a lot of them were speaking out in different events, something that was kind of new at the time because we really hadn't heard from them. And so at the dinner, he made the comment that he thought that they should basically stop complaining and strap on put on your bootstraps and basically help me get reelected. Okay. Now, this comment, of course, we tolerate, right?
Wait, hold on. He said that to the Black Caucus.
He said that to the Congressional Black
Say that
Caucus.
again, how he said it?
Basically, he told them to stop complaining and to put on their bootstraps and help him get reelected. Okay? Now, that comment, of course, we tolerated. Okay? And so my question is, one, I do think Newt's comments were flawed, and I spoke about that.
Yes.
But those comments about a president, in my opinion, are also flawed. And they're flawed on principle because we would not accept any other man, especially a white man, president or not,
Caucasian.
we would not allow him to come into the Congressional Black Caucus dinner and allow him to speak to them that way, to suggest that they don't have a right to complain about what he has or has not done simply because it's bigger than their complaints at the end of the day. What do y'all think about that?
It is bigger than their complaints. I mean, every week I would have to say this over and over.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. It's bigger than the complaints.
It's so much bigger.
Thank you.
This is huge.
407-894-1680.
Listen, explain.
Go ahead.
Explain. Yeah. Why is it bigger?
Why is it bigger? Go ahead. Explain
Once
that to me.
again, we are talking about a man that's trying to be reelected.
It's about the movement.
It's the move. It's bigger than one person. It's bigger than one
It's
group.
It's bigger than one Black Caucus.
It's bigger than black folks. It's bigger than America. It's trying to get this man reelected so he can continue on with his path, with his campaign, and his moving the momentum of his presidency.
But I do have a question. He said, y'all need to strap up y'all boots, start complaining, and just do what needs to be done and get me back in office. We don't need all this other stuff.
Well, not even so much. Okay, yes, get him back in office, but it's time to work. Like, beyond him as the president, the Democratic nominee.
Okay. What if Romney came and said that, or Gingrich, or okay, Bill Clinton was the coolest Caucasian president that we had. What if Bill Clinton said that to the Black Caucus?
To pull up your bootstraps?
And yeah,
He did, didn't he?
Yeah. They all say stuff like that.
But
Like,
you also got to think
I
about.
don't think so. Nah.
It's your audience. It's who you're talking to. I think that's Bill Cosby did it some years back when he got on parents for not doing what they need to do about their kids. He got backlash from the black community, but that's the only reason he did is because he wasn't talking to all black folk when he was when he made that statement. If it wasn't an all black audience, it wouldn't have been any backlash from it because he'd been talking their language.
Right.
So I think it's just the context of who the audience was.
Yes.
I think it was said how it was supposed to be said.
yeah.
We have a caller on line one. How you doing there, caller? Hello.
I think we lost the caller.
Oh, caller left. Okay.
Oh.
All right, caller.
right.
All right. Well, 407-894-1680. 407-894-1680.
I think it's a problem. I don't think he had to say it like that. I really don't. But then this is the same president that we say it was okay when they didn't come up with a good budget. When they didn't come up with a budget, threatened to cut our elderly pay, threatened to cut our soldiers' pay. I mean, out of everybody he threatened the elderly and our soldiers. Why couldn't he threaten Congress? Why couldn't he threaten anybody else? He threatened the elderly and our soldiers, the one that protect us and the one that put our foundation down. And we tolerated that. Why? But we supposed to make sure he get back in office?
He did what he had to do to get the budget passed.
Thank you.
I tell you, man.
And when he did that, it made them
Are
react.
y'all really making excuses for this
Oh,
man?
that's not an excuse. I'm just telling you what it is.
You know, this is what it is, Randy B. And you know, I made this comment last week, man. It don't matter, man. It don't matter. It don't matter.
What's the
It don't matter.
alternative?
I'm telling you right now. And to me,
Ron Paul.
this is why. I'm sorry. This is why, in my opinion, and this is as a collective, black folks are really losing their political power.
Political power.
You know what I'm saying? In the sense that we those of us that do stand up and speak up for our rights, if you will,
Yes.
on a regular basis, and whatever I guess you're saying we don't have any political power, but everybody does. It's about how you use it, and we don't do it effectively. But that's our own fault. But that's another show. But it seems, at least with this particular president, you know what I'm saying, we have seemed to take a back seat to simply see him succeed. Meaning he could, in all honesty, I believe that he has the ability at this point to just come on national TV and be like, you know what, African Americans, black folks, I need to get into office, and all I need y'all to do is vote for me. Don't worry about what I do, I don't do. You know what I'm saying? It almost has gotten to that point because there are no checks and balances from the black community when it comes to the black president. I mean, he literally has free reign, it seems, to do what he wants.
This is nothing but New Jack City today.
What?
Wow.
This is Nino.
You get Nino Brown the Carter on this.
This is Nino, man.
Am I my brother's keeper?
Yes, I am.
I mean, it's seriously. It seems like it's gotten to that point, man, where nobody wants to or feels comfortable enough or feels like it should be said what is or is not happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We would never accept these kinds of statements from any white president. It wouldn't be accepted. We would check him. We'd be there in his face. We'd talk about him. We'd push him. We'd do more. I mean, this is the same president that right after this happened, of course, you know, they were talking about he hasn't done a lot for African Americans, yada, yada, yada. And so he released a report, which you can go find on whitehouse.gov. He released a report and basically detailed out what he has done for African Americans throughout, you know, the course of his presidency. And, you know, when you look at it, you'll notice, one, a lot of the agendas that he has done are not really done for African Americans. They were really done for the country. So to put them there is really kind of a stretch. But, okay, I got you. We're in the country too, right? But the other thing that really got me was he has it broken down by section. And in the economic section, two of the things that are listed are the expansion of food stamps and then the expansion of unemployment insurance.
Well, that's
as if to suggest that's some kind of economic boost to the African American community.
That's not
really. But that's the boost. Food stamps and unemployment.
Well, he did that because there's a lot more white people unemployed. There's a lot more white people on food stamps today. Yeah. That's what it is. But you said we lost our political power. I look at it like this, man. We just not in our political education. We're not being educated about politics today. We're not seeking the knowledge on politics and what's going on in our country. And that's where it is. So now it's all about, you know, it's really about, to me, I think it's really about a race thing, because the average black person, I'm just going to say this, the average black person, I do believe, really don't get down to to the dirt of what's going on in our country and the politics in our country and all of that, we really don't sit there and look at them, those president candidates going back and forth for 2 hours. You're really not getting into the laws and what's going on. I mean, the average black person don't even know right now that this country is not even under the Constitution anymore. So to get real, we're uneducated on this field right now, and we're picking him because of his color and what we think he has done.
But you don't think that Romney would not say that same type of speech to his base?
No.
What?
Not at all.
This is crunch time. You don't think he would go to the GOP and say, guys, look, and then he'll say, we got to beat Obama. That's what his plan. He said, you got to suck it up, stop complaining, let's work together to beat Obama. That's what he would say.
To me, there's rallying, and then there's another step to say, I don't want to hear your complaints. Because that's what he's saying. He's saying
he
don't.
wasn't saying it like that.
Did
He
you
clearly
was
said,
not-
He said,
strap
"Stop
up your
complaining."
boots.
I mean,
That's
Stop complaining and get to work. Get to work.
The work is advocating for the people of my district. That is the work. That's what they in Congress to do. Advocate for the people in their district. And so by them speaking up, they're not doing anything wrong. They're doing what they are paid to do and have been elected to do by the people of their district. How are you going to tell those people to stop telling you their problems and stop and get on the business of get me back in the office?
Yeah.
Like I said, I would validate the statement if that same statement could be made by President George W. Bush and nobody would say anything. And so if that statement can't be made by George W. Bush and nobody says anything, well then I'm sorry, President Barack Obama, in my opinion, doesn't get to make that statement.
You know what? I agree right now because you said George W. Bush. Any other president, I wouldn't agree. But George W. Bush could say anything.
To his base.
And ain't nobody base. He can say anything to the world, and nobody was going to touch him. We gonna blow up Iraq. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing to me, and that's it. They got weapons, and that's it. And they don't. But anybody else, I was with you, man. But when you mentioned George W. Bush, you lost me. You lost.
This isn't foreign to your base.
Okay. All right. I'll move on.
You're gonna stop talking about our president.
I know.
That's what you're gonna do.
I'm all right. I'm okay. Although I did hear the government is looking for people that can build social apps that can monitor social networking traffic. So if you're out there, I heard the government, the FBI in particular, is looking
want to monitor Facebook.
They want to monitor so that they can pick up on any kind of quote unquote threats to government or president or
So people socially put up threats.
I guess they're looking for them anyway. They're searching for
this.
people who can build the app.
And now the government want to monitor the social. Wow.
It's the internet, yeah.
But we'll move on. Let's go ahead and get to our topic. 407-894-1680. 407-894-1680. So tonight, like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about health and health care. That's where I'm going to start. It's health care. I was doing some research on the topic tonight, and I ran across some information that just blew my mind. Looking at some stats. And there's an article that compared healthcare spending and the source of that spending in 1960 compared to what's happening now. Now, I know that's a broad range, but here's the point. In 1960, most insurance was covered by consumers. Okay, the percentage ranged about 68% was covered essentially by consumers. Okay, the government put up about 25% of the money in some shape or form to help them out. In 2009, when this study was done, we're spending. The total spending that year, $187 billion on healthcare. Okay, $187 billion. In 2009, we're spending $2.5 trillion. Okay, and the amount that's actually being contributed by the government works out to be, that's 48%. So 48% of the people are receiving some kind of government assistance as it relates to healthcare. 48%. Now it breaks down, 20% of that is Medicare, which that number's about to go up. 15% about that is Medicaid. If Mitt Romney doesn't get elected, that number's about to go up because Medicaid is expanding with the Affordable Health Care Act. See, I didn't call it Obamacare.
Thank you.
And another 13% is sponsored by other different government funds. Now, out of pocket, it's about 12% these days compared to 47% in 1960. That blew my mind. 48% of the country receives some type of government-funded health care. And not only are we not doing anything about this number, we are about to expand that number where I'm sure it's going to push over 50%. And this is 2 years ago. So where are we at in 2011? I don't know. To me, I was just blown away that the number was that high, and that politicians are talking about how we need to do something, but yet all we're doing is expanding the program. We're not cutting back on it. We're expanding it. Yep.
Right, and we should be.
Well, it's kind of inevitable because because of medicine, people are living a lot longer. With the economy the way it is, people are on more fixed income, so they can't afford health care like they did before. So as long as people continue to get older, the average lifespan, when was the first study? When was it started?
1960.
So you think in the 60s, the average lifespan was about 60-some years old, 70-some years old. Mm-hmm. Now people are living clear into their 90s. So you're talking about another 30 years of life. Who's paying? Who's footing that bill?
Yeah, baby boomers. They're on that.
Then just the fact that there's just more people.
Yeah.
And with more people, you're going to have a greater percentage of poverty, obviously, especially the way the economy is going now.
48%.
48%.
I'm just be.
But how
I'm the
do
wrong
we
one to ask anyway, because I come from the standpoint of we should all be going to the doctor for free.
That's the Canada plan.
Yes, it is. In France, and
Europe,
a few others.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All the countries that are failing.
That's
right
failing.
Besides Canada.
I'm gonna tell you why Canada's not failing though, and I think we need to adopt a similar plan. The reason I feel that it's going 48 and it's going to go higher because there is no competition when it comes to our medical program. Mm-hmm. We have to accept what we have, mm-hmm. and it keeps rising. Let's take for instance. When you get in an accident or you go to the doctor, they say, well, this is your bill, and it's $1,500. But what we're going to do is we're going to give you a 35% discount, and then we also going to give you this type of discount, and then you're going to pay this much, and your medical is going to pay this much. Why you got to do all of that? That's too technical. Mm-hmm. Reason being because there's no competition into the health market at all. And then our government, the doctors get to make whatever they want to make, the prescriptions make whatever they want to make. It's no competition when it comes to our medical package whatsoever. So the rates are going to keep skyrocketing, and our government needs to get out of it. I think they need to get out of it. That's my point of view. I think they really do need to get out of it. They're not helping at all.
And my thing is, you consider these percentages. In all honesty, the government has a funding problem. Okay, that's not, nobody's questioning this. There's nothing to question here. We have a funding problem. And so when healthcare, which is already, like I said, in 2009, we're footing 48% of the bill in some respects. And like I said, moving forward, that number is going to certainly push over 50.
Yes.
We're already bleeding in other areas. We can't keep bleeding everywhere. And I'm not trying to say that these programs need to be cut per se. But I'm saying that, as citizens of this country, if we want a healthy country, countries do fall, empires do fall. If we want something, we need to start being honest with ourselves and stop letting the rigmarole, and the back and forth, and just be honest and admit and stop hating on people because they're trying to do stuff that's going to help us out in the long term. In this article, it came out today because there's a doctor by the name of Dr. Otis Brawley. He has written a book that is bucking the trend when it comes to doctors and being honest about their profession. Haven't read the book, but like I said, they're talking about it on CNN. There's been articles about it on all the major newspapers, and I have an article, but for some reason I can't find the title of the book. I was going to tell you the title of the book, but anyway, he in the book he talked about how basically he doesn't think healthcare needs to be reformed. He thinks it needs to be transformed. And he talks about how what's happening is we're doing a lot of things that are truly actually unnecessary and that are actually potentially leading us to having issues that we wouldn't have had we not done these extra stuff. As an example, they talk about there's a lady who had breast cancer in 1990s, in the early 1990s. And apparently in the early 1990s, the typical thing to do was go in, do the surgery to remove the breast cancer, and then after they do the surgery to remove the breast cancer, they also go and do bone marrow transplants as well as chemotherapy as well for a few months after the surgery, which removed all the breast cancer.
Yes.
And so he pointed out that what ended up happening was the insurance companies refused to pay on the premise that, there's no evidence to prove that was a good thing.
Yes, yes.
And then eventually the government got involved and basically mandated that they actually had to approve it. But years later, in the coming into the 2000s, we found out that there was no real benefit to doing the surgery, the chemo, and the bone marrow transplant. So here we are, thousands of women getting surgery, removing their cancer, and then now going on the radiation treatment, which is what chemotherapy is, that apparently is not doing anything for them, but it's certainly doing what? Making them sick.
Yes.
And so now we're spending an extra thousands of dollars to repair people when it's not even necessary.
Yes.
And then our government stepped up to say, yeah, but you need to do it. What? Yes, we got a caller? Oh, okay. All right. No caller. There they are.
No. They need to call back.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Call
All right.
back.
So anyway, just like I said, this was in the news today, and like I said, I was doing some research. It just blew me away that this is the type of thing that's going on, and it goes back to one of the points that were made when the Affordable Healthcare Act was being created, was that it really wasn't solving the solution. It was truly just adding to the problem. Now, that's not to say that there's some good things in it. I know there's some good things in it.
Thank you. I'm just saying.
But just because your principle is correct doesn't mean that that's the correct thing to do, right? There's always more than one way to skin a cat. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's y'all got any other comments?
Well, I think a big part of it, when you start talking about private industry, the pharmaceutical company plays a major role in what things are done. Pharmaceutical and insurance. Those are two biggest moneymakers when it comes down to what's being done, what tests are being run, and then doctors, they're looking at it like this. If I can submit this in and I know I can get paid for this, why not submit in the $1,000 test versus the $500 test? Mm-hmm. And not to say all doctors think that way, but when you look at everybody who's making money off that one patient, someone's got to foot that bill. And typically the patient can't afford to have, when you're talking about all the treatments that young lady had to receive, there was no way she could pay full price for that. She's just praying she has a $100 deductible and she can walk away from it. But typically that's not going to be the case. And now with modern medicine, they've shortened the process. They've done a lot of different things, but somebody's making money. You think now that's why a lot of doctors are, their insurance, it got so high because of liability, because they were running extra tests. People were still getting sick, and they were like, you know what? I'm out. I can't do this anymore. I just wanted to help people. This is not what I signed up for. So I think a lot of what we're dealing with stems just from the backbone is just money. Get as much as you can.
It is money. I was in an auto accident, and after going through, I had some major pain in my chest, and they thought it was something wrong with my heart. So I was in 3 days I was in the hospital. I don't want to mention his name down on West Colonial Drive, but they ran some tests, and in 3 days, that bill came up to $15,000 in 3 days. And when they told me that, well, you're going to have to pay this because there was a fight with the insurance company, you're going to have to pay this. So they wanted to take out that money from what they were going to give me. And I said, no, the devil's a liar. I said, first of all, you did not run $15,000 worth of tests on me. And then when I told them to give me an itemized bill and I saw how much they charged for Tylenol and aspirin and all of that, I was like, are you serious? Yeah. I literally went in there and said, I am not paying $15,000 for this bill. No way whatsoever. After talking to them 3 and 4 times, and then I said, you know what? You're robbing people. And you know what? I'm going to take you to court now. I literally said this to the hospital. I'm going to take you to court because this is robbery. This is crazy. Don't you know, after I said all that, and I said, my lawyer's going to contact you. I didn't even have a lawyer. But that bill went from $15,000, no lie, to $5,000.
Yeah.
$5,000. I was like, okay, why is that, man?
And well, go ahead, Ms. McCray.
No, I'm just saying, here you are sick.
Yeah.
Your main concern is trying to get better, not about this bill. And with me, I have a rare liver disease that causes me to go to the hospital and the doctors all the time. And they are racking up every bill, everything that anytime I have to go to the doctor, that's the office fee. Then that insurance company gets something, then the doctor gets something, then the medication that I take, the side effects of the medication on that does something else. It's sad that it's the business of sick people.
But you know what can help you, though? I'm going to be honest with you. On Rick Santorum's medical, what do you call that? Their health care bill that they want to pass, and Ron Paul, the both of them, only them, what they want to do is you can purchase any insurance company in the whole United States. Then they want to include maybe Canada insurance companies, people that we work with as a country. And you can pick any insurance company, and there could be a Pacific insurance company say, you know what, we specialize in that treatment right there. Our deductibles are only $50. Hospital visits is only this. But the Obamacare won't allow us to cross state lines. Rick
Santorum.
Not Rick. I mean
Ron Paul.
Not Ron Paul. The other one I can't stand. That won the Florida.
Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney won't even allow crossover state lines to get policies like that. They want to keep it in state, and they want to keep it capitalized by our government. Why? And that's what I mean, that if we just had competition, if we can go state lines, if we can go border lines and get those companies that specialize in that, your bill wouldn't even be that much.
Yeah, and interesting enough, when the Affordable Health Care Act was being created, that was actually one of the proposals out there. And of course, they shot that down and basically said that wouldn't be a good idea. It'd be better run if everything was run through the government. But I'll leave that alone. I could go all day on that. But we got a caller on line 1. Hello, caller.
Good evening, family. I've been enjoying y'all conversation. I just tuned in not too long ago. How y'all doing?
We're doing all right. How are you doing? What's your name, caller?
It's Brandon.
I figured that. All right. How you doing, Brandon?
All right, man. I just got a quick comment. Not every company out there, I feel, is this way, but majority of them, they figure they run with this method. You can't put a price on life. So how bad do you want to live? How much are you willing to pay? And that's the mentality they have when they go about these proceedings as far as health care.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that. Remember, you can call 407-894-1680. 407-894-1680. Just going back to Dr. Brawley's book, I found online the name of his book here. It's called How We Do Harm. A Doctor Breaks Ranks About Being Sick in America. And so, that was one of his other points, is he talks about, he calls it medical gluttony, in the sense that, some doctors, not all, but some doctors are feeding off of that ability to be able to prescribe that other medicine, that ability able to do that extra test, and so forth. And, that's one of the things that he talks about that needs to be changed as well within the system, being transformed, as he calls it. And it even talks about how, for all that we do, because we spend more on healthcare than pretty much 99% of the world, for that matter, and at least 1.5 times more than our next competitor. But yet, interesting enough, we're number 50 when it comes to life expectancy. Okay? When it comes to children and births, I should say, we're actually behind Croatia. We're behind Croatia. We're 47. We're behind Croatia. I mean, for all the money that we're spending, like I said, and certainly I know the president has did his best and put his best foot forward to try and transform that. I make no secret that I disagree with his policy, but certainly, I think this is a discussion that needs to be had, and I think we need to get a little bit more real with ourselves and our politicians to really address this problem. Yes, sir.
My question to the panel as well is, and what Brandon said when he called in is, if life is so grand and they see this as medical, right, why is it we don't have our own personal insurance? Watch this. When you go to work, you buy a policy from your job. But when you leave your job, do you still have your policy?
No, you don't.
Nope.
Why does the government and the insurance companies have to hold us hostage that you only can have it this way or that way? And if you go out of those realms, then you pay more.
Actually,
why can't we buy our own personal policy of insurance? And if we open up that door, wouldn't the policies drop more? Because they go ahead.
And here's an even bigger point. When you go out and you find out and you actually do the research yourself, you find out that you can actually get a doctor's visit for a lot cheaper than what it is to have to make sure you have insurance on a daily basis. Right. Just an example. Most copays for most people are anywhere from $40, maybe $30 if you really got a good company or a really good policy. Whereas you're paying that every time you go, but yet you're paying $300 to $400 a month to have that ability to pay that every time you go.
Right.
When you can go to the doctor just for a checkup, which is what most people are going for anyway.
Yes.
And the doctor probably charge you about $100.
True.
So you're paying $400 a month.
Now that's part of Santorum and Paul's.
You're paying $400, and you say, well, where does the extra cost come from? The extra cost comes from the fact that now I have to have a person in my office that has to go over all of these specific codes that I have to learn, and that if I don't have the right code, then the insurance company's not going to pay me, my money back. And so, I got to pay that person. I got to, pay the insurance company for having the ability to be able to work with them. That's where the extra costs are coming from.
Yes.
Streamline this thing.
Yeah, it's administrative cost.
Streamline this thing. But
let's move some people out of the middle so we can get our policies. I think the people in the middle is called government.
I believe it would take something like that. I think in mass scale, people would have to go out and purchase their own personal policies or family policies to do that. That's the only way to work.
Yeah, I when you really look at it, man, I believe, and y'all can make a comment on this. I just believe the federal mandates, and there are mandates on health, is really what's stopping us from getting the coverage and the medical attention that we truly need. There's a lot of people that don't get insurance and don't go see the doctor when they really need to. Yeah. And I lived in Massachusetts, under the Romney Care. I lived in Massachusetts. You had to pay for it. You had to pay for
mandated.
It. We was mandated to pay, and if you didn't pay, no matter what, you was taxed for it.
It's the same principle.
And he's gonna if he wins office, he's gonna take that same plan he did in Massachusetts across the whole United States, man.
Well, if you believe what he says, the plan is already in place because that's what the Affordable Care Act is. It mandates that you have to purchase insurance, and there are taxes if you don't. Yes. So it's already in place. But according to him, if he wins, he's going to repeal that. But
Repeal it and just give it a new name.
repeal
There you
it
go.
and
Yeah.
Right.
and rework it. Somehow.
Exactly.
So, but I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll find out when he goes up against President Obama. But I'll leave that alone.
When he goes, say, yo, hold on, wait. You see how he slid that in there, y'all? Like, he is gonna win. Jimmy, are you voting for him, man?
I have made no opinions about who I'm voting for yet.
See,
Except to say, well, I won't say it.
Oh man,
so
But,
sad.
But continuing the conversation, what were you gonna say, Rainy B?
I know you're gonna vote for it. Y'all don't know it, but Jimmy's gonna vote for Ron Paul.
We're gonna write them in together, man. me and you and Snoop Dogg. All three of us will write them in. But continuing this, this health conversation. I was looking at some other stats as it relates to Orange County in particular, and obviously we know diabetes is a very problem in this country, especially in the African American community. For those that really don't know what diabetes is, I'll give you kind of a quick Cliff Notes version of what it is. Diabetes, there's two types actually. There's type 1, and type 1 is one that you get typically about puberty. And the problem there is that your pancreas doesn't make any insulin, and so now you're forced to take insulin shots to be able to help reduce your blood sugar. Most people know insulin helps reduce your blood sugar. With type 2 diabetes, that's the one where you get as an adult. And so what happens with that is there's one or two things, and there's a lot of different reasons, but Cliff Notes. What happens is your body's been making insulin all your life, and then for whatever reason, either one or two things happens. Either one, your body stops making the insulin, and so then you have to replace it, or two, your body stops responding to the insulin that you make, and so again, you still have to do something else to help reduce your sugar levels. Okay, so that's what it is. But in Orange County, there is a 9.5 percentage rate of the people in this entire county that have diabetes. Okay, another big issue, of course, is obesity. Looking at the stats, it suggests that about 23.7 people in the county are obese, which, I mean, that's a lot of people.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of people. What are we doing, especially in the black community, because that seems to, if you look at those numbers, they're actually a lot higher. Of course, this includes everybody. But, what are we doing that, unfortunately, we're not helping ourselves with these particular matters? I mean, you guys have any comments about that?
Like, why? Well, because it's cheaper if you got a family of 6 or 7 to go to the dollar menu and feed them than just go to the grocery store. That's part of it.
That's very true, actually.
That's
that makes
part
sense.
of it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I love Jerry. I like the way you really express stuff, man. Gives me a whole nother view of looking at things.
I
Man.
appreciate it. I try.
Wow.
Have you ever been into Whole Foods and those prices compared to even Publix or when you go to Walmart?
Yeah, you don't
If
want to go to Walmart and go to Whole Foods.
You don't, because it's going to hurt your feelings. And like you said, if you have a family that you're trying to feed, unfortunately, you can't be as healthy as you want to be and go into the Whole Foods and organic and staying green and all those things. And that's the sad part, is what we're eating and our activity. And looking at child obesity, some of these kids aren't getting outside to play like they used to.
Yeah. Yes.
These games that are supposed to be active, and some of them are improving on the activities that you can do at the games, but for the most part, just going outside and running. Red light, green light.
Yeah.
Well, the school doesn't help because a lot of schools have removed PE
Right.
out of their
Yeah.
curriculum. Actually, I just read an article recently up in Tallahassee. They're talking about removing PE and making it an elective in the Leon County school system.
Wow.
And what middle school, or at least female,
Right.
is going to choose PE as an elective?
Right.
You know that a lot of the young ladies did not want to dress out. So if I have an option, I'm not taking that. I'll go take something else that, I'll take an extra art class if it was there. I would take, extra math if I had to.
Or a cooking class, fry some chicken.
Yeah.
And I think actually what you said about the Whole Foods versus Walmart and all that, no, it's a specialized store. I think within the African American community, education is so key because a lot of times it's not always what we're eating is how it's just simply prepared. Even if you had to go buy the big package of chicken because you got a family of 5, you don't mean you have to fry it.
Right.
So a lot of it just starts with just once it gets home, how is it prepared? Is it easier to fry or is it easier to bake? Vegetables, are we eating enough vegetables? One of the big things that I've noticed in a lot of communities, especially predominantly African American communities or minority communities as a whole, we don't have fresh vegetables accessible.
Right.
You have to drive further. If you're catching a bus or if you're walking, you're not going to go, 15 minutes to go buy, fresh fruit. So even just having that accessible, look at your corner store. Look what they put in the front for kids. If, I remember being a little kid and having money, and when I visit my aunt, her corner store, the first things you would see were 9-liters.
Right.
Yeah.
You saw the jars on the countertop with pig feet, even though I didn't eat those, but you had the hot sausage, you had the pickles, you had all that stuff. And a lot of kids, because they don't understand spending, they don't understand all that, they're going to get what's accessible. And hey, I can get a 50-cent bag of chips, Funyuns, and give me a pickle, and I'm good to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, understanding how much sodium you've consumed in those 2 items, you've probably consumed enough sodium for that day in that one sitting. So you have a lot of kids, they're not exercising, they're not eating properly, and matter of fact, there's a big push right now in Orange County to fight childhood obesity. I don't think that childhood obesity can be fought just talking to kids.
Right.
They
You
don't
gotta talk
cook.
to parents. You got to talk to the parents.
Yeah, kids don't buy food.
Right.
True.
So, imagine telling your child, hey, you got to eat healthy. Meanwhile, you back over in the corner eating what you want, Doritos.
Right. Right.
Exactly.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is hard. And like you say, it's even Michelle Obama, the first lady, she has a huge initiative where she's going around and talking about childhood obesity. But even there, it kind of goes, piggybacking on what you said, the conversation is really not with the kids because the kids don't know any better. Whatever you put in front of them is what they're going to eat.
Yeah.
And so really the conversation is at the parents. And so it's really not about childhood obesity. It's really about obesity in general because it starts at home. And so if the parents aren't doing what they need to do, the child is never going to get to where he needs to be in the first place. So it really piggybacks on that. Even with, watching for the diabetes and making sure you're not getting it later in life, that goes back to adults and learning, like you say, how to eat correctly. I'll be honest, I'm guilty, I'm gonna have my hamburgers and french fries.
I think we all are.
But there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
Yeah,
really, there's
moderation.
nothing wrong with you having. I can tell you my biggest weakness, and pretty much everybody knows me. I love candy corn. Most people are like, I can't stand it. I love it. I can knock off a bag like I'm a drug fiend, but like I'm an addict.
Heads.
But the thing about that is, I still have to have some level of control to that.
Right.
And that's what it all comes down to. To eat a hamburger and french fries today is one thing. Matter of fact, a great example, I don't know if you guys saw Good Morning America this morning. Robin Roberts did a interview with a lady who had peaked at 600 pounds. And she's lost she peaked at 500, I think, or 500, I don't know, near 600, but she's lost over 400 and some pounds. And she showed her the skirt that she wore. This was her good skirt. And I think she said it was like 12 yards
Wow.
of material to make. And she said now she's lost all this weight. She said when she looks in the mirror, she can't believe, that's the person she's looking at. And every time she sees old pictures, she just starts crying. And actually, believe it or not, her relationship is actually struggling. Because her husband's like, I loved you for who you were.
And now
He's like, I don't know what to do because I've been so used to being a caregiver.
Right.
Yeah.
And they said when she would go to like fast food, it was nothing to order like, 3 Big Macs, side of like 2 sides of fries, Diet Coke. It was nothing for her to do.
Diet
Coke.
Because that was just, he became almost an enabler to a certain extent. And then you get to a point where you get so heavy, depression. Actually, they had a clip when a gentleman said she was riding in a cart in Publix, or in not a Publix, but an actual grocery store. And she was riding a motorized cart. And the man said it out loud, like, man, you get any bigger, you're going to need a bigger cart. And they caught that on tape. And I'm like, wow, dude, that's not something you say out loud. That's something you say in your head.
Right.
But to say it out loud, they caught her on camera. She just broke down crying. Because she's like, she didn't know how to do it. And I think a lot of, and I'm going to point out African-American women, because I can only represent one group of people. I would say like African-American women, love them all shapes and sizes. But one of the things that, and I'm going to blame men first, we'll tell y'all anything, and y'all will believe it. Girl, you look so good. She is obese, but she looks so good. It's not wrong. Girl's not wrong with you being a size 30. I love you for every inch of you. And, there's nothing wrong with loving her for the way she is. But understand, one of the things I always tell people, you need to be healthy. It doesn't matter what size you are. You're less inclined to be healthy when you're heavier. But slimmer women are unhealthy as well. And that was one of the things that a lot of people don't understand. Just because you're a size 2 doesn't mean you're any healthier than the person who's a size 14.
Right.
And
it's about your intake, not about what you look like.
Right.
Correct. And a lot of times we get caught up on what's on the outside. Ooh, she look good. She can wear a size 2. You don't know what's going on the inside.
Yeah.
Where she's been snacking on. She has a fast metabolism, but she eats, hamburgers and French fries on the regular.
Yes.
And her arteries are all clogged and everything like that. If you look at mortality rates, you look at death doesn't have a size, doesn't have an age. You can die skinny, you can die obese, you can die any size, age, or whatever. So I think it's important that we recognize it and we try to do something about it as a community. Not just saying like, just kind of piggyback of what Jimmy said. It's not just childhood. It's a problem. It's an epidemic around the country. Contagious around the country. It's one of those things that as a country, as a nation, we have to address and try to do something about it. So, and I do have one thing. Per request, I was told that I should bring this up. Black women, I love y'all to death, but please stop making excuses about why you can't exercise. Number one exercise excuse: my hair. I just got it did.
I'm just saying, you gotta make it last.
Yeah.
I can understand that, but it is at a time where we have to do something. We have to do more, even with our hair, and be active. If you don't even do a full body sweat, you gotta be active and get your heart rate up and make it consistent. But I understand we don't want our hair to be, and I have a short due, so I'm okay.
Can I tell you a secret?
Yes.
I've never seen a man look at you and be like, dang, she fine, but her hair busted.
Yes, y'all have. Yes, y'all have. Yes, y'all have.
Her hair busted. I can't talk to her.
Antonio, you are sitting here lying.
Unfortunately,
Yes,
it's a
you
new
have.
generation out here.
It is a new generation.
And they as petty as, I won't say petty, I'm sorry, they're as particular as females are.
Yes.
But I would say this, kind of on that comment. First of all, I don't think anybody's gonna knock you because you just left the gym and your hair is a mess. Okay, now if you
No, we're not.
hanging out at the mall,
Yeah. Now, when you all dressed up and you look busted, that's a whole other story.
but coming from the gym, nobody's gonna be not looking at you because your hair is messed up because you left the
It's
gym.
the upkeep after the gym that's the problem. That's trying to get it back tight after the gym, after we sweated it out and it's all straight and slicked back to the back, full of.
Rainy B, what happened to you,
Wow,
Rainy B?
man, I'm soaking it.
You
I'm
all right?
soaking it all in.
You okay?
I'm
I've heard from Rainy B in like 15 minutes.
I was looking for a pen and paper, man. I couldn't find no pen and paper. Well, I have no comment about women. Last time I talked about the flip flops and the eyebrows, but I got ate up.
Yeah, you're on punishment.
Yeah, I'm still on punishment. I can't talk about women.
A mess.
But I do have a comment on it all. I think also it's time. A lot of us, just time is just tough right now, and especially if you got children, it's hard to hit the gym and hit this and hit that, and even timing with cooking, because you're like, well, if I bake it, it's going to take another 20, 25, 30, 40 minutes. They hungry now. Let me just get them some chicken nuggets and fries. So I think time has a lot to do with it, as well as money's getting shorter. The dollar's not worth much. You're trying to maximize your time and your money. So it starts with that too.
Well, that's part planning. I've learned that we have a 16-month-old now. Our time is limited. I'm busy. She's busy. My wife's busy. But what we've learned is, and we've talked about a lot, is a lot of it has to do with just planning, prepping food the night before. When you're sitting there watching your favorite TV show or whatever, you could be prepping the night before. Everybody doesn't have to have a gym membership because everybody can't afford a gym membership. But there are a lot of gyms, $10 gyms now, community gyms, apartment workout facilities.
Yeah.
You can do a lot in your home. Just get videos. And actually,
Bright House got a channel.
yes, they have channels and
on demands.
Yes.
and you're in the video games, even interacting with your kids, playing with
my
them.
goodness.
30 minutes.
Dance 3, we?
Oh, you
Oh,
switch.
that was
Now you
killing
switch
me,
your house.
man. That was killing
That's
me.
what a perm out around there.
And they got the old school jams. Jam on it. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I had a flashback.
You know, and you know, just that's what it is. You know, like you said, it's planning. It's not like we aren't aware. It's just that we have to start taking the time to do something. And yes, there is a mindset change that needs to happen, but it's necessary. We want to make sure that we are living to our full extent, so that we could take advantage of what's out there. We're wrapping. We're going to wrap up the show now. I'm going to take any final comments from the panel here. Jeremy, any final comments?
No, just continue on. Let's just try to be as healthy as possible.
All right, Antonio.
Basically, same thing. One of the things I am plugging right now, I'm pushing Clay. That's changing lives of adults and youth. Something I'm trying to work on in the community. We have our next meeting will be February 28th. We are hosting it at the Experience Christian Center on 26th Street in Orlando. And one of the things that February, we're going to be we're going to actually have a cardiologist come in and talk about healthy heart. We're going to have a matchmaker come in, relationship expert, and we're going to actually have a chocolatier and talk about health of chocolate, the healthy parts of chocolate. So we're hoping to get a good crowd in for that. And we are trying to get it on the internet so people can, if you miss it, you can come back and watch it later. So that's what I'm promoting now.
Awesome. Ms. McCrae?
Very cool. Stay healthy mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Just take care of yourself as a whole. And everything in moderation when we talk about what we're eating. Because I know I love my sweets. So everything in moderation.
Rainy B.
I'm with McCrae. God has given us our bodies to govern. We have to govern them accordingly. Everything has to be in order. So you want to just take a minute or two to just digest everything about your life, especially comes to your health.
Exactly. Like they say, it's not that you can't, it's about how much you do. And so we'll end the show on that. I want to remind everybody you can follow us on Twitter at Real Family Talk. You can also friend the Facebook page or become a fan of the Facebook page, Real Family Talk, and also follow the website. Try and do a little bit of blogging. realfamilytalk.weebly.com. realfamilytalk.weebly.com. Thanks again for joining us, and of course we will, as always, see you next Tuesday, 9 p.m. This has been J Real. Welcome to Real Family Talk with your host, Jay Real, where we talk about real issues facing us today. Enjoy the show. Real Family Talk.
Winter Garden, Orlando.
Hi, I'm Sarah, a Rite Aid pharmacist. If 2012 finds you in need of a new pharmacy, you should choose Rite Aid. We're always ready to take care of your prescription needs and make transferring easy. With your list of medications, just call 1-800-RITE-AID, go online at riteaid.com, or visit any one of our convenient locations and we'll do the rest. Need a better reason? How about Rite Aid is the only place you can earn up to 20% off the whole store every day for a year with a free Wellness Plus card. That's 20% off. And getting 25 points for each prescription is the fastest way to get there. We accept most major insurance plans, including TRICARE, Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield, or any other plan with Express Scripts coverage. So bring your prescriptions to Rite Aid. We're standing by to make transferring easy. Do it today. Certain limitations apply. Prescriptions paid for in whole or in part by state or federal healthcare programs such as TRICARE, Medicare, or Medicaid are not eligible for Wellness Plus points, nor are prescriptions filled in New York or New Jersey. See pharmacist for details.
This heavyweight bout is about to begin. What's the champ wearing? Looks like an examination gown. And from the back, ooh, that's not pretty. Champ, what's with the get-up?
I've got to take care of my family, so I'm getting those important medical screenings.
The fight is over! Champ, you look pretty healthy out there tonight.
But I'm still getting those tests. For a list of tests you need, go to ahrq.gov. And remember, real men wear gowns.
Go to ahrq.gov. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, AHRQ, and the Ad Council.
Having a great day? Or not so much? Whatever your mood, we can lift it. Since 1706, Twinings of London's been blending the finest tea leaves into 50 great-tasting varieties. Whether it's a refreshing black, flavorful herbal, or soothing green, we've got a tea for you. Twinings of London. Teas that fit your every mood. Available at a store near you or twiningsusa.com.
You may have a big heart, but do you have a strong heart? Balanced nutrition and exercise with regular checkups help build a strong heart. A strong, healthy heart lets you share your big heart with those you love.
Hi, I'm Congressman Alan Grayson. I want you and your family to have strong, healthy hearts. Make healthy food choices and make sure to get 30 minutes of physical activity